This week's scenario is taken hold from the 2016 Steamroller packet. This scenario does have the Killbox artifice, and consists of a friendly flag which can be dominated for 1 CP, or an enemy flag which can be controlled for 1 CP or dominated for 2 CPs. Victory condition consists of 5 CPs or caster assassination.
Today I brought Magister Helynna with Imperatus, Discordia, and Sylys Wyshnalyrr as an attachment, 2 units of Dawnguard Sentinels with their command attachment and Soulless Escorts, a Lys Healer, 2 Arcanist Mechanics, Lanyssa Ryssyl, and a Dawnguard Sentinel Scyir.
Pokey here, and I decided to go with Dominar Rasheth and the Titan herd, kind of taking the sampling of one of each, except for the sentries, which I think are actually very good models in this edition, and then of course the support pieces that are needed to run them properly.
So for deployment, I got to go first. Was given this side of the table. I wanted to get my battle group over on the far side of the table to try to get Helynna up on the hill to avoid being shot or having spells on me as much, and to be close to go to dominate his flag. I put my 2 units of Sentinels on the other side of the house on my side of the table to be able to contest my flag and to be able to push over the lake with Pathfinder on the charge.
Alright, deployment. My hope in this game was that I was going to be able to use that building to protect my caster and allow me to hopefully dominate my own flag. Rasheth doesn't have any real attacks other than magical attacks, so my plan is to try to get him to start scoring on my own flag.
So for my first turn, I run my Sentinels, just try to get them into position for follow-up turns. I put the far right unit behind the lake, knowing that if he does kill one or not, I can charge them over the lake or run around to get behind the forest on his side of the table. In hindsight, I should have put D-Cell up. I know he only had the 1 Cannoneer, but I had the focus and I should have done that. I get Rhythm of War up and just run my entire battle group up to around the hill.
Alright, turn 1. Pretty much everything's rushing and running. Or rushing and advancing in the case of the Cannoneer. Was rushed, it's advancing, it's putting its own Animus up to attempt to try to draw some first blood. So I was able to target one of those guys, I was able to hit him, kill the guy under the hole. But surprise, surprise for me, they get vengeance. So yeah, that was loads of fun. And so I was able to kill off some of those guys, which was good. Turn 1, first blood. Hooray! What I kind of messed up on when I did my advances, though, is I didn't leave enough room for the Sentry to get through, and the Sentry was going to get rush put up on it. Pretty much everybody's going to get rush because of Rasheth. That's all I ever cast on turn 1 with him. So that's what he did, and he advanced. Then I took the Sentry that had rush on him. I had him trample forward, and then I put his Animus up, thinking that my opponent was going to come in and try to start whittling down my heavies. And then I brought in the Bronzeback, trying to keep it safe. And right behind the front arc, just a little bit beyond the 2 inches, hoping that I could get a counter charge if need be. And then the Agonizer moved forward, did Gnawing Pain and then everything else moved up.
So my turn 2, I definitely should have put up D-Cell, because at this point my opponent has killed more than I expected for his one gun. Did trigger Vengeance, so I moved them up. At this point, I've got a lot of Sentinels on this side of the board, and I need to start moving them towards his side of the table. I think at this point, I still need to take care of these 2 beasts over here. I'm gonna position them safely to where he's not gonna be able to advance and take this side of the board much. But at the same time, I need to kind of get them moving to help out my battle group on the other side of the table. His one elephant is out of charge range, so I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with Imperatus this turn, since I don't want to feed him to his battle group on the other side. So I get my Sentinels into position. I mini feet both units this turn. And what I think I'm going to do with Imperatus is I'm going to send him in. I can get a shot off on the central Paingiver behind his beasts over there. And if I can hit it, I can get the Flame Burst to get the other 2 on fire. So I advance, get him on fire. And at least try to prevent some free charges for his following turns. Checking to see where Helynna needs to be to optimize her feat the following turn. I managed to get most of the forward Sentinels. I think it was all but one were inside the feet. So between the mini feet and being base to base and Helynna's feet, they are sitting at armor 23. So Helynna moves over. She's not going to want to be over there too long. At this point, I kind of thought that in the following turns that, depending on what he was doing, that I might try to make a shift over to my flag to dominate. But from here, it's I'm at least in a safe position. I've got the feet up. I'm bringing Discordia in to get a brain damage on his caster. If I can avoid him casting spells on me, that would be wonderful. So I spray. I hit the elephant in front of him. I hit Rasheth and brain damage him. And from there, I'm going to use Rhythm of War to try to get both my jacks into a position where they're going to survive till the next turn. I know he's going to be able to at least bring one in on Discordia.
Brain damage or whatever that thing is, it says I can't cast spells. That was painful. Because this would have been a good turn to be able to cast some spells for my caster. Unfortunately, not the case. So now I'm trying to figure out if I can get one, if not two, of my beasts over onto Discordia, I think the Jack's name is. I know I can get the front sentry there. I can actually probably get him there without having to rush him, because, well, I could still advance 7 inches. And then I'm looking at the potential for the second sentry to get there. You know, looking at it, going, okay, well, you know, if I put Rush up on him, he's move 6, 2-inch reach, boom, okay. So, because I don't think I can get I'm fairly certain that I can't get the Bronzeback over there because, well, the Bronzeback would just be in the way. So, first things first, let's go with the Extoller. And she is going to take a pot shot at, I think, the lonely guy out by himself. So I boost it to hit. And of course it looks like I boost the damage. And I managed to kill the guy, which once again is activating their vengeance move. I really need to learn from the first turn not to do that. So the Blue Beast handlers, which are now pretty much only 2 models, they're taking the press forward order. Oh, I'm sorry, they're taking the charge order. Press forward, charge or run. So the one moves up, charges the one guy, and the other guy runs around. But wouldn't you know it, I forgot to make my swings. What kind of idiot am I? Anyways, so, alright. So, they make their advances, they just kind of don't do anything. Then the White Beast handlers, they activate, they move forward. Some to enrage, some to condition, some to put up prodding. Then the Gladiator activates, he backs up to put Rush on the 2nd Sentry, the one closest to Rasheth. I know they're kind of a jumbled mess up there, but you have the first one that's almost out of the building, you have the second one that's actually turned around backwards, because, well, they're Titans, that's what they do. But yes, so he put out Rush. So I take the first one, and we're measuring it out using our little measuring widgets. Because Discordia has a 1-inch melee, we're going off the vision lines, off the front of it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to Discordia's back arc, and using the Muse measuring stick there, I'm able to get my 7 inches to get in the back arc. Still have it to where I barely get enough to swing, and because I get to charge for free because of prodding, I'm just going to unload everything on into Discordia. But between dice rolls and I think his caster's feat, I am not really familiar with Ret at this time, so I'm learning what I can, which I will tell you, this is a bad lesson to learn right now. The fact that I have a Sentry that's fully steroided up, and I can't seem to kill that other. That Discordia. Well, I guess it means that being a character jack, it kind of makes sense. So now we're looking at where can this Sentry go? The 2nd Sentry now, who has Rush, where can he go to get him to be able to swing on Discordia and hopefully finish off Discordia? Well, this is where I kind of screw up with, hey, I got Rush, I can get there, sure. Well, guess what? The flag. The flag is my issue. The flag's position, I can't stand on it. Even though it's incorporeal, I can't stand on it. So now I have to worry about where I'm going to put this enraged, rushed Sentry that's, potentially going to be doing nothing this turn. So then I activate the Bronzeback, move the Bronzeback up. But I don't move him too far forward because I worry that my opponent will have the ability to will have the ability to do something to get to counter to negate my counter charge. So yeah. So then I activate Rasheth, he moves forward, and I basically just use him to heal up, to heal and whatnot. So that's my turn.
So for turn 3, Discordia did manage to survive. Feat gave her enough armor to take a beating, still be in one piece. I didn't lose too many Sentinels, but they were able to make a vengeance move and take care of the remaining Paingivers. Unfortunately, I did forget to allocate any focus to Imperatus for him to be able to go in and take care of the elephant on his own. So I have to put a lot of effort into at least giving him a good chance. I get him Concentrated Power. I get him Hunter's Mark. I try to position to where I can at least sidestep and then use Rhythm of War later to be out of most of his threat ranges on Imperatus. But unfortunately I'm not able to get the job done. So I'm going to have to bring Discordia in. I really would have liked to have Discordia be able to back off, kind of repair her up with the mechanics or Helynna, save her for a later turn. But unfortunately, since I didn't allocate any focus, I had to bring her in to finish off the elephant. I send my Sentinel unit in on the elephant, and at this point he has shifted, almost all of his army to the other side of that house, leaving my other unit of Sentinels high and dry on the bottom of the board. So I'm going to need to get them as far over as possible on this turn for them to have any chance of getting into the fight here. But this unit of Sentinels kills the Cannoneer. And I just try to get those Sentinels into play for next turn. I'm hoping that at least one of my Jacks will make it through the next turn. Pretty sure his next turn is his feat turn. So it's going to make them difficult to do much, but at least they're gonna get to the fight.
Now my Cannoneer is gone, and my Sentry is gone, and it's starting to really sink in that I really don't like Ret, or at least with this caster. Their infantry is starting to swing around the corner there, which is kind of scary because I'm losing beasts that can deal with them faster than I can handle the infantry. And I can't catch his Jacks because they get close enough to charge. They charge, they do their damage, and then they get their little whatever that thing is out of my range, to where I really can't get a a good charge off. So, with that, I'm going to keep my Gladiator back for the rush bot, and hopefully some kind of a transfer target for my caster that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get hit up this turn. So but thankfully I didn't get brain damaged again, so I can start casting spells, popping feet, and doing all the other happy stuff. So I activate my caster. I was hoping to actually get him on the flag, but due to sequence of events that have to happen, I have to activate my caster before I can activate the Sentry. So I couldn't get my caster on the flag, which might actually be a blessing because those infantry models are right around the corner, and they would have potentially had a charge on my caster. So I popped my feet, and then I ended up using the Extoller as my arc node for Rasheth, and then because of some guy in there, the spell was shortened by 5 inches, which really sucks on an 8-inch spell. But it's okay though, because I was able to still drift it the right direction, and was able to, as you can tell, clear out that entire little clump there. Doesn't mean the rest of them can't vengeance over there and kill off the Extoller, which, by the way, only took like 2 damage out of his 5. So I'm like, yes, he gets to stand there and be in the way. So with that happened, and then the Agonizer moved forward because I'm trying to get his aura up as far forward as possible, because that, in conjunction with the feet, really pisses people off. And my biggest hope right now is that I'm going to be able to kill off Discordia and engage whatever the other guy is. So I charge forward with the Sentry because, well, he has reach and he was the closest one there. So he did his thing to kill off Discordia, and then the rest of it was spent swinging on whatever, Imperatus or whatever it is. Like I said, I have very little knowledge of Ret and how it works now, but I will tell you this crash course is not a fun one for me. So, with everything else, I spend all my fury over there to do what I can to hopefully hurt Imperatus, kill it. It looks like I left it on 2 boxes. Then the Bronzeback activates, and he runs into the woods. Because remember last turn I said, hey, I'm finally starting to catch on that these guys like to do hit and then back away, hit and then back away.
So, for turn 4, he was able to charge in, kill Discordia with no trouble, and almost kill Imperatus. I think if I would have positioned Discordia different, he probably would have killed Imperatus during my turn, or his turn, which would have been better for me, actually, because at this point I have to Phoenix Protocol during maintenance phase, but because I did not have a Cortex before I Phoenix Protocoled, I was unable to get a power-up, and I was unable to allocate focus to Imperatus yet again. So, again, I use Hand of Destruction and Redirection Blast so that I can at least get a charge off. And then I measure out to make sure I'm charging outside of the Agonizer's bubble, because between the Agonizer and the feet, it would be really difficult for me to kill anything with -4 strength. So I do manage to get him into a position. When I redirection blasted him, I did redirection blast him, unfortunately, to a position where I was engaging my mechanic, but I was able to kind of maneuver to a spot where I'd still be able to give myself a focus and to get Imperatus into a position where I would not be within the bubble of the Agonizer. So I bring Imperatus in, take out another elephant. I'm not able to finish it off with Imperatus, but luckily I've at least got some of my Sentinels are close enough now to where I can get them into the fight. I try to run one in to jam him up, but forget about countercharge. But I run the next one in to jam up both. He didn't have a view to get a charge off before, or to get a charge off on, I think it's the Sentry. So, had to get him out of the way so the others could charge. Luckily, since I had Hunters mark the Sentry, and the Sentinels were able to get there and finish it off. Plus 2 inches on them is really helpful. And I reposition Imperatus back to hopefully keep him alive for another turn.
Lost my second Sentry. Now I have a bunch of those little infantry dudes in my way. Imperatus did whatever he does that makes himself better. I have a bunch of infantry, as I said, I got a bunch of infantry in my face. So, using the nice little Muse measuring stick there, I was trying to see if there's any way I can get to his caster. If it was still the Mark II version of the Bronzeback, I would be saying, yes, thank you, I can now get where I need to get to. I'm going to just beat on your caster. But unfortunately, this is not Mark II, and his Animus is not Trainwreck. His Animus is, however you pronounce it, with the modified beatback, which is I can only advance towards him. Now, if had a little slightly faster infantry that will support pieces that I still have left, maybe I could have done something a little different. But I'm going to not be able to get anything in there to kill off one of the models that I need to kill off, that were keeping Imperatus from being beat back into his caster. So instead, I just move forward, tie up some people, make some swings ineffectively. I enrage the one Gladiator who slides over and just starts beating on the last of that one unit. So right now, I am just in happy mode because I finally killed off a unit, or most of a unit. So the Gladiator is kind of out there, not really being much help. and now I'm measuring for my Willbreaker, because he is the next arc node on the Price is Right. So, but yes, I was measuring it out to see if he could get up far enough to get in there and do get close enough to be used as a arc node to kill off the one that one guy who reduces my spell range, but unfortunately no. So instead, I moved the baby forward to put up Gnawing Pain, and then bring the Willbreaker forward and hope for another lucky scatter. So, but I scatter exactly pretty much where I need to go again. Thankfully, lucky scatters. Thankfully, I'm just going to go with thankfully lucky scatters. So, they're all over. I'm all over there. I am rolling out the damage because I know I still need to do some stuff with my caster. So that's pretty much where I'm sitting. Because I activate my caster. He does a rush up on the Bronzeback, and then yeah. So my caster's sitting on nothing because, well, I'm fairly certain that if I can't kill or block off enough, I'm just going to be dead anyways. So that's my plan. I'm just going to go for some headhunting here and kill off Imperatus with my Bronzeback. You know, I may end up dying, but if I die, I die with my Titan still on the table. So go through, you know, end up killing off Imperatus. I think that's his name, but it's not close enough to do anything to anybody else. So let's see how the next turn goes.
So turn 5, he's killed Imperatus, and I'm looking kind of small in my ability to deal with any of his beasts at this point. I've just got a few Sentinels left, but he's only got one Fury, and I think I can send the Sentinels in to get it done. So I run my mechanics to block the Bronzeback. Don't want to be countercharged on my caster. Get my healer out of the way. I move Lanyssa up. I try to do her nuke on, hoping for a crit stationary. I don't get the crit, so I think I might have done a little bit of damage, but unfortunately no stationary. So I activated Sylys, did his extra dice. And then I do Hand of Destruction, because with Rat 5, I'm really hoping to get the Redirection Blast to pull him out from behind the house to get a few more Sentinels in on him. But I still miss, so I use my remaining focus to cast an Oblit. That'll clear that Paingiver out to free up some charge lane space. His other model there by the blue flag does not have a weapon, so he cannot hit my Sentinels when they're charging in. So now it's just a matter of how many Sentinels I can get in on him. And I think I'm able to get 4 in. And even dropping 1 dice, charging Weapon Masters with some good dice rolls, are able to get the job done. It was a close game, and I had a good time.
Okay, afterthoughts. Probably the biggest thing is to remember that, well, read up on your opponent's abilities, cards, kind of go through that. And then remember what your own stuff does. The Breath of Corruption, which I didn't notice until the very end, actually leaves a 3-inch cloud behind, skater, cloud, template, whatever. The people that enter it or end their activation in it take a point of corrosion damage, which could have been completely helpful earlier on in the game, versus, and then also at that very last time. But I'm just so used to just getting through and just killing off models that I don't ever put them out there. And I need to stop that. I need to go back and reread what the stuff does and make sure I have all the appropriate templates set out. Because I think if I would have remembered it, it could have helped me out with those guys. Maybe reduce their numbers, but I'm not 100% sure. I would like to thank my opponent. He was actually a good guy. He taught me a lot about how Ret works and how dangerous it can be. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.